you doing this evening?
Doing great. Yeah, I have no hair to pull out, so I'm down to talk about that. But no, I don't. I'd rather not. But doing great.
Yeah, doing very good, man. Tis the season, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yep,
nothing
happy
but good
holidays.
food and loved ones, bro. So yeah, it's been a fun holiday so far.
Yep. We are the Sound the Siren podcast is of course a proud member of the College Huddle. Please check out other podcasts in the College Huddle network. Certainly also if you'd like to support Sound the Siren, you can do so at patreon.com/sound the siren. Um, but it wouldn't be a Sound the Siren podcast if we didn't talk about beverages. I'll start and say that I'm boring tonight. I'm not quite into full holiday mode, so it's just a good old fashioned filtered water. But DJ or Hood, you guys have anything fun this evening?
No, I just got water. I've been drowning in cookies and all these other treats the last week or two. I'm sitting in front of like 3 dozen thumbprint strawberry cookies. I'm trying to resist, but yeah, just water.
Yeah, I got water too, man. But I hadn't had it in a while, in a long time. So kind of picked it up at the little convenience store. But I got some cream soda, some A&W cream
Ooh,
soda.
nice,
Like it's
nice.
just a random little craving. So I was like,
That's a good
let me
one.
snag it.
No,
Yeah, just super random.
I thought you were gonna say you haven't had water in a long time. I was like, oh dang,
Oh,
what you drinking
damn.
on?
All the time. I don't need no kidney stone.
um, all right. But yes, I will get my party on a little bit at some point during the holiday. It's just not today. Um, but uh, I don't think we really prepared for stupid tweets or Husky Couture, but we'll circle back to those segments in a little bit. But let's just jump right back to a 38-10 uh, Washington win over Boise State in the final ever Bucked Up LA Bowl, presented by Gronk. Forever bucked up,
Yes, sir.
forever bucked up champions. General thoughts on it?
Dominant.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what you want to see is just dominant. You guys saw me tweet about, I kind of wanted us to face a program that, it didn't necessarily have to be a good game, but a team that you can kind of market the win over. And I just felt like Boise State, ranked or not, right, just kind of wasn't that name, But if it wasn't a
Was the
name like
Mountain West
that,
Conference
dominant.
champion?
Was the Mountain West Conference champion too. They were going for their double digits win, so they were going for their 10th win. So that stuff, man. But yeah, dominated. If that's what you're supposed to do with that to that opponent, you're talking about not having stupid tweets. But DJ mentioned earlier how somebody said that Boise State typically dominates us, and yeah, right. You can check the stats. My team winning. That's an easy dub over the Broncos.
And margin of
as far as
victory.
players,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, it wasn't, and there was never really any threat. When you see their quarterback just kind of tossing up stuff, that's how you kind of know like there's like a helpless nature. It's kind of so. I think at halftime or
You want to talk
at some
about
point in the game,
cheeks? That's Boise State quarterback play right there.
it was mad cheeks. They had two quarterbacks playing straight cheeks. So yeah, man, it was just dominant, man. Loved how physical the defense was. How they were flying around, linebackers making plays in the line of scrimmage and in the pass game. Man, it's just that defense just looks ridiculous. And if Walter stays, it's going to be one of the best in the country next year. So offense took a little time, kind of as it has all season. But once
Sure.
it got going, it was going. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I do have a stupid tweet that's relevant to this same topic. Uh, we're when was the bowl game? Was that a week and a half ago or a week ago? I don't know. It seemed like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but
It was the
it
third.
just last.
It was a week ago
13th.
Saturday.
Yeah, like so.
Yeah.
9 days ago when we're recording here. But anyways, CFB home. It's a 120,000 followers on Twitter. They predicted Boise State to win 31-23, which is whatever. Probably a dumb pick, obviously. But this guy was
Considering
like,
we hadn't given up 31 points all year, but
that's true. Yeah, the score is a dumb, ridiculous. But also that guy, whoever running that account, people was talking a lot of shit like that. the days prior about UW's program and how relevant or non-relevant they are. Yeah, so
I think there are a couple people that are that contribute to that, and
yeah.
I know one of them is good people. I'm not sure about some of the rest of the crew.
Isn't one of them Mike Black or used to be Mike Black?
I'm not sure. I don't think so, but
I think it used to be part of it at least. But yeah, so that's why I want to shout out that score prediction. Like, I wouldn't single out a score prediction, but the fact that they're talking all that noise beforehand, I had to bring it up. But anyways,
I mean, if it was Mike Black, yeah, they did get close to 31, and James Madison certainly did.
Yeah,
granted garbage time, but
yeah.
Still put up a ton of yards.
No, I agree with Hood. Like, I mean, I had some concerns. Like, there that day, leading up that day, there was a lot of smoke about Jedd Fisch in Michigan by some accounts out there. And so when I saw the first couple of drives on offense, I was like, oh, here we go. Like distractions, we've seen that before.
I mean, it wouldn't be a Husky game day if there weren't a couple of DJ Doom tweets.
yeah, exactly.
or text.
Or text, yeah. But no, the offense came together. Defense balled out all game. I mean, they gave up a late touchdown, but they dominated all game, and we're down a few players. I mean, granted, Boise State, I know at least they're down a tackle on offense, a good player, but we did what we should do to teams like that. I mean, Boise State, good, solid caliber program, but not top 20, top 15 level. And so, yeah, good win overall. I mean, it was good seeing Jonah Coleman out there. He's not been healthy for months. Wish we could have saw number 8 on defense, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, overall they look good.
Really quick, DJ, you said you were talking about their program, and during the game, they had a stat that came up and said since 1996, the teams with the most programs, the most 10 wins, highest is Ohio State at 23, then it's Alabama at 20, Oklahoma at 20, and Boise State at 19. So impressive. We're talking about programs. Yeah, we definitely stopped them from having their 20th 10-win season in 30 years. So.
And if we beat Wisconsin, we'd have had another one.
Facts, bro.
True.
I'm just gonna throw that one out there, or we shouldn't have thrown that one out there like we did.
That's giving me more PTSD than losing the Ducks a few weeks ago. That game.
Well, no, I will always say like that Ducks game was there to be won too, and
yeah.
To quote, Coach, Mr. Coach 30, piss down our leg.
Thanks, bro. That was all those big games season, the fourth quarter.
Like, that's why I'm like, I get it. Obviously, when we could talk about, the seasonal retrospective after we get out of, but, and I get why Jedd's name is out there in a number of ways. There are certainly, there's some things he's very good at as the head coach of a football program. But for my money, there's not a win in his tenure at Washington says that's a big win. That's a game you shouldn't have, that where he has won a game he shouldn't have won. Like, yeah, he's beaten, like in his first season, we beat a couple of, what some duo calls, a helmet game. It's like, okay, yeah, you beat USC and you beat Michigan. USC basically decided not to run the ball, and Michigan did not have a quarterback. Like, that's not a good Michigan team we beat last year at any stretch of the imagination. So, like, you haven't won a game you shouldn't have, and I've got at least this many games that you lost that you really shouldn't have. But thankfully, we did not do that in this game. Certainly good to see.
Right? Like, you didn't have any of those like huge upsets. I mean, there's a couple games sure they probably weren't favored to win, but like nothing.
Yeah.
But he actually probably had.
What was that?
Oh, so I was like, he was just kind of known for like keeping it close with the elite teams and making it a good game.
He had USC basically beat and gave it away. And then like, oh yeah, he beat Oklahoma in the bowl game. Oklahoma threw 5 interceptions in that game. Like Oklahoma gave away that game with both hands and a couple of feet. Like, here, we don't want it. We don't want it. Take it. Like throwing up cookies like he was Mrs. Fields.
And wasn't that like Jackson Arnold's like first start?
It was Jackson Arnold. Yeah.
It was like his first start.
Yeah. A career that's really taken off to new heights ever since. But for me, certainly, good to see the departing players go out on a high note. DJ, you called out Jonah. I think we'd be very surprised if that's not Denzel Boston's final game in a Washington uniform. Certainly good to see him go out the way he did. I mean, the defense was great. Like, I think we can get into our players of the game on each side of the ball, because I don't think there's much more to be said about the performance in that game. It was what we hopefully it's a sign of progress that it's beating a team that we should have and doing it the way we should have once we got going.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some momentum and on a positive note for the next year.
All right.
It really just showed that we are. It does show that we are P2 physical, though. Like, because they would match up everywhere else, but they just weren't P2 physical. So I think that is something I took too from that as well. Whether we're young or whether we do it week to week, we are physical enough, and we are P2 physical. So,
yep, and getting more so. But let's get into our players of the game. Who wants to go first? And I will let whoever goes first pick which side of the ball they want to start on.
I'll pick Roebuck because didn't he break the touchdown record for a freshman? So yep. I'll pick him. Just kind of being like, I mean, we knew he was, polished. We didn't know he was going to loose in this manner. Like to think of him as like a little Doug Baldwin. So he's just going to be the quarterback's best friend for the next, 3 to 4 years. So I give that.
Are you saying for the season or for this game?
For this game.
Okay.
Just getting that touchdown. I think that made him have the most, I believe.
Yep.
That's offense. And then defense, I'm gonna give it to Deshaun Lynch, man.
Yeah.
For finally freaking getting you get your hands on all those I'm not saying that. You get your hands on all those passes. And
we almost had a pause. That's not a full pause. That was just a delay.
Look, man. I caught that one though, yeah. On all those passes, you finally caught one. So that's super dope for him. Last game of the season for him of his collegiate career. You go out like that, and he was a fluid mover moving down the field. I know you tripped over your own feet. Tripped over your own feet, man. But you know what I'm saying? It's hard to pick 200 or 305 pounds up. You dig? So. Yeah,
I love that he was still so excited after he fell, because normally guys would be like, "Oh man," but he was just like so pumped, he didn't even care really that he didn't score. I mean, I'm sure he did care, but like he didn't show it.
That was super dope, bro.
Yeah, I'll go a little off the board. Certainly there's an obvious one, but I think I'll leave that one to DJ. And I'm going to say in terms of I'm going to call out somebody that's going to be a huge building block for the next year, for next year's defense. And I will say, as we get into sneak preview or not a full segue, but something that we'll talk about a little later in the episode in terms of portal priorities, let's get this gentleman some help in his position group, and that's Alenius Davis. 4 tackles, 3 of them solo, a half a sack, so half a tackle for loss and 1 pass defense. Speaking of getting hands up on the defensive line, Alenius has done a nice job of that all year, and I thought that was a textbook example of it in this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna need some help, and hopefully, I'm hoping he stays. I mean, there's nothing. I just never know. That's all I'm saying. There's no like rumors or anything.
I mean,
yeah.
Right now, he's DT1 on this team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ontario could get another year.
No, Thompson?
Yeah, I think
he's fighting
with the
another
Jugo
year.
rule,
Oh,
I think
so
Ontario can
that'd
get
be
another
big.
year, but Elenius
And then you think like
is
Dominique
TT1.
Macon is still there. You know, Dominique Macon, Omar Khan, they're still there too. So
Parker Bros, I don't know if they don't medically retire, but yeah. I mean, they're good if they're healthy, especially Javon.
if they're
Unfortunately, that's been the big variable. But yeah, you're a defensive player of the game there, DJ.
Oh yeah, same as her. Just because that one play was amazing and kind of funny at the end too. But yeah, because he's had so many of those, like you said, tipped passes, and it was bound to happen. It was gonna be one of them, and the fact that he ran it back, I don't know, 50, 60 yards. Yeah, that was awesome for his last game.
Yeah. I will say we also do need to mention a really, really good performance all game long from X-Ray Alexander. That was the obvious one. I was like,
of who?
And
yeah.
And then also got to shout out Leroy Bryant, man. Got to.
That's true.
Got that highlight tape right at the right time if you're going to be bouncing.
Yeah,
right at the right
Have a couple
time.
picks.
And he got it with everything. He got the high point interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Like he showed literally the ability you want to see on film. That's perfect.
Yep. All right. On
shout out
offense,
to Leroy, man.
Offensively, I mean, it's Denzel.
Yeah.
But I will also say, I'm so happy to see a nice long touchdown for Quentin Moore, and that's an NFL tight end right there.
Facts.
I don't know why we didn't see more of Quentin in the receiving game in terms of making it a priority, because he's got the skill set. It's all over his tape, his high school tape. Like it's there. He just obviously basically turned himself into a tackle at tight end. And he didn't get those opportunities because he was so valuable as a blocker. Yeah.
True.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
but DJ, your thoughts on offensive player of the game?
I mean, he's probably just player of the game, but also just going out on his more very likely last game was a Husky who is going to be a Husky and already is a Husky legend for
sure.
All he's done for the program, for not just his play, but staying the hometown and staying with the team after the coaching change when he could have easily transferred. So, yeah, shout out to Denzel. Going to be one of the
I will say, speaking of stupid tweets, speaking of stupid tweets and Denzel, or maybe I think it was a message board genius's post that a Michigan fan speculating that if they hired Jed Fish, that Denzel Boston would come with him.
I saw that.
Oh. Well, number one, Ted McMillan didn't come with Jed Fish from Arizona. Number two, Denzel Boston is not going to leave his hometown school when he's going to be a first-round pick if he leaves his home school to go to Michigan with Jed.
What is X commentary gotten to for sports? It's ridiculous. People just say the darndest things.
It's not just sports. Let's be real here.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that came from a message board. He just shared it. So
yes, but I mean, I think to your point, Hood, I think the difference between commentary on message boards and the commentary on X, and maybe just the commentary everywhere, it's like it's just
the same shit.
We've hit the what in the name of God are we doing stage of everything.
And I didn't. My bad.
Right.
I kind of jumped the gun on the offensive one. My fault.
Yeah, all good. All good. We were going to get there anyway. So, yeah.
And the stat is apparently at since at least 2000. So I guess they don't know who's had more before 2000. So.
Because stats weren't relevant part of then. What is this Duck fan making this?
Yeah, come on. We need you to do a little more research and talk about what. We need the all-time stats. We got to keep with our narrative.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta look up the all-time stats now. There's probably gonna be some random person we're gonna learn about now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. Do we want to talk about? Well, let's do the seasonal superlatives. We'll do players of the year on each side of the ball. freshman of the year on each side of the ball, and then we'll talk kind of position grades, and then portal targets. So, DJ, I think you went last or had the last selection of players of the game for the bowl game. So, again, on the offensive side or defensive side, you can pick which side of the ball and the player of the year for you on that for that unit.
Yeah, I think there's two very obvious guys for offense. I mean, one super obvious, but another obvious probably someone like us. And I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to go with John Mills. Difference maker on
Freshman
the
All-American John Mills.
Yeah. And we should have two freshmen All-Americans on offense.
We do well if I think the Athletic or no PFF was who recognized Desmond.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah. But John Mills, you can see the difference he made when he was out those games, and not just how good he was, but his versatility as well. He jumped out to tackle a little bit, still did great. Yeah, and true freshman playing offensive line and playing like he did, it's not unheard of, but it's not common at all. You don't see that very often. People talk about, oh, you're not gonna have a true freshman starting on the line and on a playoff team, but he can.
Who says that?
Yeah, I don't know who said that.
I mean, I say that all the time.
Oh, okay.
I say that all. I say that all the time.
I'm not
Cody
calling
Green,
you out. I'm just nothing. I'm just saying, like he was that good. Even if somebody says that, like he defied the odds, in my opinion, with how he played this year.
Yeah, and here's hoping we do it and certainly, and we'll get to it when we dive deep on the recruiting class, because Cody Green is an exceptional talent.
Yep. I mean, I do agree. Ideally, you don't want to rely on true freshmen to start an offensive line, but there are exceptions.
If there are exceptions, and here's hoping that we have two of them on the line next year. Go ahead. Offensive side, player of the year for you.
Since he snagged Mills, man, that was mine too. I'll pick an obvious one. I'm gonna pick Demond for what a lot of fans feel like was like a up and down season. If an up and down season is, I think, finishing second in total yards in the Big Ten, I'll take an up and down season as far in a development year. So if that's my the lowest it gets, I'll take it. So I got Demond, just kind of being a leader through it all, the ups and the downs. I just kind of working through a coaching staff as well, kind of figuring out their identity and developing a culture offensively. Kind of battling his head coach's play calling sometimes, and then also too not having a ton of guys that, just being honest, that were like super speedy, that were separating. You know what I mean, and making likes to see it and get it out, see somebody open and get it out. So that's why some of these throws were a little tough for him to get the ball out. A lot of guys he had to trust to get the spot. So, had a lot to working against him a little bit. But yeah, I got Demond. Bless you, big dog.
Thank you. And I'm going to go the other one. I'm going to go Denzel, because it's a different offense when number 12 was out there. Clearly, not only because he's obviously Demond's go-to guy, but it's just a different. It's different when he's there, and when he's not, and we'll get to more on that later in terms of talent acquisition priorities. But I mean, I certainly would love to have seen. It's unfortunate that he had to miss the time that he did, and that he had the injury that he did. Because I think if he'd been fully healthy all year, he obviously goes over 1,000 yards. And as it was, 62 catches, 881, average of 14.2 with 11 scores. Literally Mr. Reliable. Like, he was the guy we went to when we needed third downs. Like, I don't think necessarily you think of your number one receiver as your in the moment, like just move the sticks guy. But Denzel did that for us this year, in addition to being the big play threat, in addition to being our punt returner for a while. Let's not do whoever wide receiver 1 is next year. Let's not have them do that, please. Please.
He essentially he only missed one technically game, but he essentially missed 3 games with that
Right.
injury. He came back. He probably came back too early, but just have him out there. And then the Wisconsin games when he got hurt. Yeah, so he should have been well over 1,000 for sure.
Yep. All right, I will go first.
I thought I was doing freshman offensive player of the year.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know if I'll change it, but definitely Denzel would be Boston. Would be my other one too.
I thought Mills was a good one. That was actually going to be mine. So I thought Mills
for your overall, I mean, it's definitely contention.
Yeah,
just
for sure.
That's a huge building block and that's a huge building block going forward. No arguments there. And I think the other one that you can point to in terms of the freshmen, when we've talked about him, like Hood, you called it out already. I don't know if you have a different opinion for your freshman of the year on the offensive side of the ball, but go ahead. I won't steal the thunder. I'll let you pick your freshman of the year on offense before I say anything.
On offense, I obviously gotta go Desmond Roebuck. The most touchdown catches since 2000 for a freshman wide receiver at Washington, man.
I don't think anyone's ever had more prior to that.
Yes, I mean, and at the end of the day, for him to be like of his stature, not the most like explosive guy. He had a huge explosive where he ran after the catch this season. You know what I mean? Being a reliable target your true freshman year is not something that's common. Being a chain mover, those types of things are not common. And also, too, with an offense that struggled in the red zone last year, we took huge leaps in the red zone this year. And a lot of that was because of Desmond Roebuck making clutch plays in the red zone for us. So really, really appreciative of his ability, him coming in as a 3-star Arizona Gatorade player of the year down there in high school. And that skill set translated, man. So excited to see what happens next year. But that's fine.
But I heard he can't be good because he's not 6'3" and doesn't run a 4.3. That's just what I heard from some people.
Hey, look, man. Tight end 11 said he was going to have a bad season because he can't create separation. So talent evaluations are not for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, the recruiting rankings, are infallible. They're never wrong, and a player, and a 3-star has never outproduced a 5-star
ever.
Granted, I'm not fully taking a shot at Corian Moore, who was hurt for even more than Denzel Boston was this year, but
I remember very clearly a lot of the Texas fans that I befriended when we were back-to-back years, they were super mad when we got John Mills. They were like, he was probably the most underrated player in their class and was probably going to contend to start not this year but next year. So like that was somebody that they knew was like an under the radar guy. I believe a 3-star guy as well. So come on.
Guarantee they're trying to throw a bag at him right now.
John's chilling. John's chilling.
Yeah, I think Sark operates at a different level than Fish, and in terms of vibes, and I think, and it is something that I will give Coach Fish credit for. He is a player's coach, and his players really, really like him and appreciate him as a coach. So that's certainly commendable. Let's flip it over on the defensive side. I went first on. Did I go first on offense? Or no, I went last on offense, didn't I?
You went last, yeah.
All right, I'll go first on defense, and I will go with our defensive player of the year. And I'm going to give it to the same guy that I said, or no, I'm going to give it to the same guy I mentioned but did not highlight as the player of the game on defense from the bowl game. Give me X-Ray Alexander.
Has
solid all year. I think, yeah.
I like.
because he was there. I mean, like there are other guys that had flashes, but all year very, very solid. And one of the big reasons I've got so much where I'm already looking forward to next season is the play of that room in particular and the guys we have in that room. Our linebacking core is going to be a fucking wrecking crew. So yeah, give me extra Alexander.
Totally agree. I don't know how he didn't start the season, but anyway, mine is gonna be Ephesians Pricelock. A guy that stepped in and was CB1 the whole season. We needed to see his technique step up. We needed to see his ball skills step up. And while he didn't, the interception, physicality, and while we didn't see him, make plays on the ball earlier in the year, he kind of transitioned into kind of just getting the ball out instead of kind of going for some of the picks. He just started getting the ball out and did a phenomenal job locking down his side of the field all season when, the preseason CB1 was out for the majority of the year. So he was tasked with being CB1 all year, and he was exceptional. Where a lot of people, maybe preseason, including myself, had some skepticism about what he was going to bring to the table. Stepped up, was a menace in the screen game. Game. Nobody was blocking him. Used his length at the line of scrimmage much better. He got kind of beat by speed at the line of scrimmage last year. And speed wasn't beating him in the same manner this year. He would get on top of receivers and things like that. So the technique took a whole nother leap. And you get to see that with his invite to the Senior Bowl. You know what I mean? That's a high level process they got going over there. And for him to get that invite along with Sicario, just that he's worthy of NFL looks now. When I think end of last year, I don't think he was on anybody's radar. So big to EP stepping forward, and then also being an energy leader. We saw that death row energy from him all season, talking trash, all types. So that's my defensive MVP.
Yep.
Yeah, that was gonna be mine, to be honest. He definitely played his way into being an NFL draft pick this next spring. So I'll go with someone else. To me, there's one kind of obvious answer in my opinion, and then there's a couple guys that are dark horses, like Ephesians was another one, but Alex McLaughlin, he balled out every game and brought that intensity that, as you're also saying too, made big play after big play. I don't know, probably led our team in tackles a few games. Yeah.
And that's not thumbs. That's mimic in respect. Not if we're going to talk about Alex McLaughlin's play, it is a big.
Yeah, double thumbs up. Yeah, did not expect that out of him. Like I don't know. I had no expectations with him going into the season, to be honest. But he exceeded all expectations for probably anyone.
Someone called 911, bro. You got to call 12. You did. He on the scene.
Yep. All right.
I love AMAC, man.
All right. Well, DJ, since you went last on the overall Defensive Player of the Year, you get to go first on Defensive Freshman of the Year.
Oh, that's sucks for you.
And there's some contenders here too.
That's true.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
ZRS, he's my freshman of the year on defense. Came in late due to injury and probably could have easily not played this year due to a bad knee injury earlier in 2025 or maybe late 2024. But yeah, he balled out too. And he came in He does not look like a freshman, especially one coming off a big knee injury like that. He is the real deal. I mean, he was obviously ranked high, as he should be, for a reason. And we haven't seen a player like that on defense in years that is big, strong, athletic, fast, that can do everything. And yeah, hopefully he continues to stay healthy because, I mean, he's going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Hooligan. I already know what yours is. I'm going to let you get that off.
Well, I believe he's got theme music of a couple of different, throughout the decades, but I'll go back to the classic theme music, and that's Batman is a guy that comes with bad intentions. And I'm gonna go RDA. That's Ryland Dillard Allen. One of the building blocks for the future in the secondary, obviously. You want to talk about that death row attitude? RDA's got it. Check.
Back. He's gonna be a fan favorite for sure.
And a freshman All-American himself. So yeah, give me RDA.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually gonna cheat here. I obviously had Dylan had a really good year. Robinson had a good year. Obviously having to step into the spot with Takario out as well. I'm actually gonna cheat here. I'm gonna give it to Rashawn Clark.
He's a freshman.
We didn't specify whether it was a freshman or a redshirt freshman.
See, I had to sneak that one in by technicality. Stepped in, when called upon to elevate, I play a little bit, where, we might have wanted to see a little bit different from that position. His versatility, physicality, ball skills, attitude. You can definitely feel like, he plays with the pride of being from Washington as well. And wear my favorite number too. So that's my thing there. So love number 2. But yeah, I got Rashawn Clark, another huge building block for the future. It's funny, just watching right now him flying down the field from what looks like a safety position and making a tackle for 1 or 2 yards line of scrimmage, chopping a dude down for Boise State. Sire Gaines, who had 800 yards, and their other running back who had over 1,100. Our DBs held in check, man, with physicality. So definitely loving Rashawn Clark as a freshman defensive player of the year this year.
All great choices.
I mean, you can call me out for taking pot shots on this one, but I got to recognize the player personnel staff at the University of Alabama again for the eval on that player in particular, because yeah, you guys were spot on. A local kid that plays like Rashawn Clark, you'd be like, nah, you're not a priority for us. Like, honestly, like, what are you doing?
What was their deal with liking local?
They were doing nothing.
Not liking any kids, I guess. They didn't want to.
Yeah, he needed the university to recruit for him. Shit.
Yeah.
Obviously.
They just want to enjoy the buffet and not recruit.
All right.
Do you see that?
Well, we don't have the same kind of climate to sweat the weight off like they do. They do that in Tuscaloosa.
That's what I was. Yeah. He's stressed out. He red all the time.
Does not look like he's having fun.
But let's talk about we'll get into a little bit of the coaching grades. Do we want to go position grades, or do we just want to like call out kind of the, maybe just coach, position coaches of the. Yeah. I mean, I think the overall coach of the year for me is obvious. If you talk about coordinating, if you include the entire staff, head coaches and coordinators.
Okay. Yeah.
For me, and this is no disrespect to any of the position coaches, but for me, the coach of the year on the Washington staff is Ryan Walters, and it's by a couple of touchdowns.
No,
totally
you
agree,
can't go wrong
man.
there. I don't know where it would be this season without having him as a defense coordinator. There's only a handful of guys as a defense coordinator coaching can do what he did with our defense this year. So
and adapted his scheme to fit the talent that he had.
Yeah,
which is one of the like I've been on that train for over a decade. Going back, regardless of the sport, you don't try and force like this is my system. And particularly when you're coming in and you haven't had a hand in it's one thing to hey, this is my system and recruit to it and find players that's your talent acquisition philosophy. But it's another thing entirely to come in and say, this isn't what I was necessarily given. this is just what I have.
Yeah.
How am I best able? Like, great coaches, in my
Mhm.
opinion, do both. Like, they understand what their system, but when circumstances don't offer up exactly what you want, can you still be successful? Ryan Walters did an exemplary job this year.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And we just
I-
saw an elite DC get fired for not being able to do what Ryan Walters did. You know what I mean? He still had a top 5 defense.
I know it was only 1 year
But
he
was-
didn't do great or whatever, but yeah, he got fired.
He just didn't adjust to he over time. It just was the same system, and teams, if they were disciplined, they could just move the ball on it. But I agree, man. And one thing that just popped into my head, man, over and over again when you were speaking about Ryan, Coach Walter, was identity. Jeff Fish was quoted by saying that he wanted to bring in somebody that had head coach experience, and you can see the identity of the defense and the identity of the offense were completely separate, and for good reason. You know, he took ownership over the defense. You saw it was his team, it was his little team, and he was relatively kind of stoic all year. But his position coaches were super hype, and one thing I noticed, I think it was when I went to the spring, is I was like, he empowers his position coaches to kind of be like DC energy and do the coaching, and he's just kind of head coach of the defense. So it was super cool to kind of see him adjust on the fly, and then allow some of his other coaches, I think Van Horn and Calfusi, to kind of help him adjust his system and his scheme, and acclimate them to their programs and things like that. A lot of the turnovers we saw versus Boise State and towards the tail end of the season were in cover 3 variations. So that was something that wasn't really on film a lot for Ryan Walters. So yeah, I agree. I would give that to
You're
him.
allowed to adapt your scheme.
You are. You saw I was bullying it a little bit earlier in the year. I'm like, I don't know what you guys expect. This is on film, bro. Like,
I'm just saying that I saw what I'm just saying I saw one side of the ball adapt and improve significantly, and that other side of the ball
stayed kind of like this all year.
A long season after seeing that first half against Colorado State and doing what they were doing to our defense, but he definitely, like you guys said, adjusted and adapted that game and every game going forward. I think that's probably the best answer. My position coach or coach in general would be Michael Switzer, the offensive line coach for the Huskies. A couple reasons. For one, look at the progress our offensive line made from last year this year. Granted, it was absolutely terrible last year, so basically anyone can improve on that. But he made it from probably the worst or one of the worst in the Big Ten to one of the best in the conference, or at least close to it, like top 6, 7 or so. And kudos goes to him on the job he did there. What's that?
Not a weakness when healthy.
Yeah, exactly. When we're healthy, we had some depth issues, but it's not really necessarily his fault with that. But being 1 year as offensive line coach, but yeah, he made that offensive line improve a lot. And also, myself included, like again with him, I don't know what to expect. He was promoted from being what was his title, assistant offensive line coach prior year, and a lot of times when that happens is because like an elite offensive line coach in this case leaves, and then you promote because like, oh, they're learning under a system. And so I was skeptical because our offensive line was not good last year, and he was he's part of the staff, but yeah, he blew all expectations away with that. So I think he did a phenomenal job, and I don't know, he's gotten some good players recruiting wise too coming in as well, so that's also a plus.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
A position coach I'll give it to. I was really leaning into who was forced to kind of lead this wave of young people. So obviously you got like Mays, obviously you got John Richardson, but I got to give it to Kevin Cummings. Holy hell! What 3 of your 5 contributors were true freshmen at the end of the day? I think Amari and Denzel were the only ones that had any experience. So you
With
obviously
Rashid getting hurt.
and then with Rashid getting hurt early. So obviously the offense had its ups and downs, but Kevin Cummings had to not only get them we saw the athletes they were on film. We saw the football ability they had on film and the skill set, but you got to get these kids prepared. These kids had to balance their academic workload and plate, and also their playbooks as well. And for you to have them come in there and feel like it didn't really skip a beat with that, like starting from week 1, RVB as well as Desmond Roebuck, and then Chris Lawson once he got healthy was definitely in the rotation. So definitely going to give it to Kevin Cummings for getting those guys prepared, man. And then recruiting his ass off and getting another class that some of the dudes in that can contribute early. So
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, especially
position coach wise.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say position coach wise, we'd be remiss if we did not mention John Richardson. Period.
Facts. Yeah. Facts.
Like, how much excitement do we have? I mean, we're obviously getting really excited about the linebacker group from last year for next year, because it's got a mix of experience and youth, and certainly Coach Odom did a nice job with that. Coach Odom and Coach Van Horn did a nice job with that group this year, but any problems we had this year were not set. Very, 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 very rarely were ever secondary related. So that's Coach Richardson and certainly Coach Mays as well.
Yeah, if you would have told me that our CB1 was out most of the year, but that position group was one of the best on the team, I would have thought that's a little crazy to say, but yeah, so you gotta give a shout out to them.
And we'll talk a little bit more about their efforts on the off the field stuff in terms of the class that they signed in a few weeks, but doing some work. Plain and
disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Literally what we want. Oh my God, so many throwback players on defense we're getting. Oh my God, bro.
We can't do that much yet. This is not the episode for it.
You gotta hold it off a little bit longer.
Hold it in.
Will do.
All right. Well, let's move into. Obviously, we can talk a little bit about the departures. We announced entering the portal. I believe Devin Bryant and Leroy Bryant. Certainly Zach Henning from the offensive line. Adam Muhammad, surprisingly, out of the running back room.
None up there.
And certainly Raiden Vines right from the receivers. Am I missing anybody? And Bryce Butler certainly out of the interior of the defensive line, which certainly probably the not only size and stature wise, but in terms of the contribution made, I certainly would say Bryce Butler's the biggest departure. But as you look at it, and the makeup of this team for next year, if you wanted to stack rank, how would you prioritize certainly positions to go target in the portal? Top 5.
I think Vince Young left. Or Vince Holmes. Vince Holmes.
Yeah.
Vince Holmes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My 1 through 5 would be D line and edge. All that. We need all that.
Yeah.
1 through 5. That's a good idea.
Well, I mean, I'm serious. But those are my top 2 for sure. Especially with if Butler stayed, we still would need some interior.
You'd still need probably at least a couple defensive tackles.
Yeah, it would definitely be depth or rotating ones, but I mean, we lost a starter for next year, right there with Butler. He, at least with his current team, would be in position to start. So yeah, that is a huge loss. And then our edge play, subpar. I mean, we got some guys next year that can hopefully take some steps, but yeah, we need elite edge with like some twitch can get to the quarterback consistently. That was our biggest weakness on defense this last year.
When was the last time we had? I mean, Braylon was probably the last time we had a guy that could consistently get to the quarterback and cause pressure.
Yeah, and when he did it, he was literally the only one
by
at his
himself,
position. Yeah, so they could double team him and stuff. I mean, before that, what Mathis, JoJo, like
in 2016?
No, it was kind of
well ZTF.
Yeah, for that one
ZTF
year.
in the COVID year.
Yeah,
until he got hurt.
That was insane. That was an insanity run he had there that year.
I'm gonna do it the way he did it. I'll just do top 5. Edge number 1 for sure. I understand we got some guys probably coming back healthy, but they're lighter guys or whatnot. And I understand Coleman Bruce is coming in, as well as JD Hill, 2 guys that most likely are gonna play. So I'm pretty sure they're confident there. So they're probably gonna go get 1 or 2 people. We might be like not satisfied with what they get there, but I will say the guys that are already committed to coming in are probably gonna contribute. So IDL number 2, you lost 4 people, 5 people. You might have Armand make a decision
Butler,
there.
Tai.
Yep.
Peppa and Sagapolu.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you include Thompson too, like
and Ontario potentially,
maybe.
Ontario leaves, you know what I'm saying? So, you potentially, like, the Parker brothers have decisions to make too. So, I think you like you had this year, you had an abundance of experienced bodies. You don't have experience or bodies this year. So you're gonna have to go get a lot of dudes. So I think IDL, you can even put that first. Then I got running back 1. I think the Adam Muhammad news is, I wouldn't say it was expected, but I would think that you were gonna go get a top tier guy anyway. To force kind of Adam to be like RB1B, RB2 kind of in that situation there. And then CB 1 through 3, and I mean that like I think you can find the starters on the outside, or find like a starter on the outside in a slot. But I do think you're gonna need a starter out there, whether that guy comes in and he starts slot, or whether that guy comes out and is on the boundary, or the field shoots. We get a high level guy. But yeah, I think we need a CB. And then lastly, I got tight end. While I think off the top of the head, I think Fish mentioned Barron as taking Quentin's spot, so that makes me confident that he's shown that he can block well in practice and on scout team. So that makes me confident there. But at the same time, I want like a guy who's experienced to come in there, and a guy who's balanced, not that can just block or pass catch. You don't need Decker in there, and then it's a pass, and then Quentin's in there, and it's a run. They're both in there when there's probably a run. You know what I mean? So yeah, I have a guy in there where you can kind of get the defense on their heels. So those are my 5 in order there.
Yeah, I'll say, I say the list is longer for position groups that we need than we don't need. Because I'm gonna add 1 more. I mean, you hit all the right spots, but at least this is my opinion. I know we have some highly touted and really good young receivers, but we need a veteran receiver that's either or both big, strong-bodied, or one that can push the ball downfield, run a 4.3 or something, because we don't really have either, unless you're counting like some true freshmen coming in, which it's hard to rely on in general. But yeah, we need a wide receiver, if not a 1 or 2 or a 2. Because we have a lot of guys.
I mean,
as good as Roebuck is, we have several guys. I mean, Vines Bright is leaving, or probably, that are like shorter, more possession type receivers. We don't have a huge variety, at least proven guys.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to say, Hood? You holding?
And Rashid's coming back too, though. So
that's true.
Or you got to assume he's coming.
Yeah,
I think you can replace. I think with all due respect, I think you can replace Amari Evans and RVD's production with 1 guy. Like,
yep.
I think you can definitely do that. You know what I mean?
The guy that's harder,
So,
the guy that's infinitely harder to replace in that room is Denzel Boston.
For sure. Can't replace
facts.
him. At
Yeah.
least not right away.
You
I
get
mean, you
wide
could
receiver
maybe-
one.
You can maybe try and replace him somewhat in the, and I haven't gone all the way through the film, and I don't want to necessarily deep dive the analysis, but Denzel is unique in that he can do it all. He's a big receiver. He's exceptional at the 50-50 and going up and winning jump balls. Explosive to run away from people. Like we called out in talking about like the role that he played in the offense. Also, clutch, finding the soft spots and converting on third downs. I don't know if that, it's not a proven commodity in that room right now. In terms of how I would prioritize it. I would say certainly I agree with Hood. I actually probably will say I'm going to say interior D-line first, even before edge. Like, yes, I'd like to see us rush the passer, but at the end of the day, we didn't really rush the passer all that well this year, and we still only at most gave up 26 points. Like, we could potentially survive. Like, if you fill some of the other spots where you can replicate, and certainly with the steps forward that I expect the young guys with the talent that they have to take, you're going to see even improved play out of the linebacker unit, and the linebackers were really good this year. You're going to see better play out of the second. You should probably see better play out of the secondary, out of the young guys in the secondary, because they're going to take some steps forward. But it requires, you have to keep the linebackers, the safeties, and the corners clean to come up and make plays in the running game, and that takes big bodies in the middle of the defense. Point blank.
Would you put edge first if Butler stayed, or would you still have?
I'd still say because of the other departures to graduation, I'd still say, particularly in the Big Ten.
No, I agree.
Yeah, because to speak to Hooligan's point, everybody brought, or not everybody, but there were like two bodies that brought something different. So like it was Sagapolo and Peppa, boom, and then you had Ontario and Bryce, boom, they were the pass. So they had at least two bodies where they can do something versatile. And at this point, you have one that can do, So they had a embarrassment of riches of experience and versatility up front. They weren't necessarily disruptive, but they had. I forgot who said it on the commentary. Is like he was watching how, like, while they didn't penetrate, he said they just had strong hands.
Yeah.
So like they rarely got bullied, but they rarely were in the backfield. So they just always muddied the front. And we're gonna need some experienced guys, some versatile guys. I would love for them to be not necessarily high profile, but of a higher caliber than Western Michigan, or of a higher caliber. I want some dudes that are gonna maybe bring some other dudes with them.
Experience, I mean, this is the first time. I mean, we talked about it before the season. Like we were kind of excited to see this interior defensive line group come in this last season because of all that experience, because of that versatility. Like we haven't had that, and since Peterson golden era 10 years ago, a bunch of guys that can play. Because I mean, you guys remember when our runner-up natty run, if Thule was out, we had nothing.
D-line. We had nothing. Yep.
Yeah, and that was just one guy holding it down for us too. So, yeah, it was really nice to see guys. You can bring in different guys every play, and they can all hold up.
Yeah,
and then speaking of kind of just IDL, Edge, you got recruits that are coming in that could also kind of like help out, and they're high floor year one, So I think that's where you're kind of like, okay, well, and they're not little. They're both 265 plus. So they're probably going to be
exactly.
ready. And if you look at Walters' defense at Purdue, he usually has like 250 to 270 pound edges. And that's what both of these dudes are. So
yeah, I mean, and you can some versatility. Sorry, Hooligan, but like, I mean, edge I'm talking about. So Russell Davis, tiny, but I'm interested to see how Ryan Walters can use him, because as you guys said, he adapts, and X-ray and ZRS can also rush the quarterback.
Yep.
I mean, they're not like primary edge players, but they can use them. And we're gonna have 4 linebackers, so like they can, and they're not gonna play all the time, but they can play. They can play edge, like rushing the quarterback, and have Buddha and Menu.
Isaiah Ward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isaiah Ward. I think he's got 1 year.
He does. Yeah. He
Yep.
does. So I mean, we could have like a kind of not the same level as like interior defensive line we had this year, where we can bring a lot of guys, and maybe none of them were like super elite, but we might have that a little bit with edge next year. Probably not the same level, but you know, we have some potential and we have some experience coming back.
Yeah. And you know, you could potentially see, you know, to your point earlier, I think you mentioned Omar Khan and Dominic McCone from this last class. You could see those guys
and Macon
start to mix in. But yeah, for me, interior D line is still number one. Even even you say best case scenario, both of those guys are ready to contribute, and both Parkers get healthy for the and are healthy at this concurrently for the first time in their career. I'd still want 1 or 2 guys just for that, just because those guys are going to wear down during the course of the season. And the fresher you can keep your interior D line, the more they can muddy it up and keep the linebackers clean. And you can, with a defensive coordinator like Ryan Walters, you can kind of mix and match, and you also can bring some pass rush from guys like Ryan Gillard Allen or Rashawn Clark or guys from the secondary. You could find you can get some heat on the passer through unconventional means. So for me, certainly interior D line is one.
Can I add one more thing with interior defense line? They got to go into the season not expecting the Parker brothers to contribute. But if they do come back for one,
it's a plus.
Two are healthy. It's just a bonus, like kind of like with the basketball team.
We want that to happen because
they're
both great. They're both great people that have put blood, sweat, and tears in for the program. We want them. I want that to happen for them because they've worked hard for that to be the case. For me, I think the second I'm gonna put wide receiver up at number as the second biggest priority. I like a lot of what is in that room, but again, this is really a nod to how much respect I have for what Denzel Boston was for us once he got his chance after the big three left. I'd love for somebody that's in that room right now to be 80% of Denzel. That would be pretty surprising for me because that would either be coming from one of the freshmen and we don't have of last year's freshmen. Deji's the biggest of them. Deji's the only one that's kind of in that same frame and in the ballpark of Denzel frame and athleticism wise. Certainly Justice, like you look at Justice's high school tape, it's there.
They said your boy was looking good until he got. They said Justice was
got hurt.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. Like, I'd love to see it because it's certainly it. But I still I will say is if they roll the dice and they don't go out and get a big wide receiver, and I'm saying 6'3", hopefully that can run a little bit. It's a roll of the dice in that room. You're going to be relying on young people, or you're going to be relying on unproven commodities at a really, really important spot. And look at how important that obviously, yes, to the point about DeMond earlier, if that's a down year or kind of I don't know that DeMond progressed all that much this year, if I'm being honest. But if DeMond is the same next year, that relies on having somebody to somewhat replicate Denzel Boston and even in the aggregate. And that's a big roll of the dice with unproven commodities when this is a year that we're
next year.
What?
If DeMond's going to be the same, not show much improvement next year, they need guys that can run after the catch and be able to do some strange short passes and just.
And they've got, and they will have some of the, there is some of that. Chris Lawson is that kind of athlete. Deji, for that matter, is that kind of athlete.
Yep.
Certainly Rashid can be.
That's where your boy
Justice.
And that's where your boy kind of can get replaced by some better production. You and I both. So it's not something we both, I would say, missed, right? Is that was like RVB's strength. And it just seemed like he didn't have a feel for the speed. And they tried to give him the screen game, short game. It just didn't seem like he had a feel for the speed or wasn't able to break the tackle. So
yeah, I mean, and that's hard.
I do think that you can't replace that.
Yeah, absolutely. You can replace it, and it was surprising that he didn't. But I think the injuries and somewhat that it was just kind of a disjointed. And that's just going to happen with freshmen. Like they're not going to adapt and pick up the speed of the game. Like progression isn't linear, and just because we didn't see it this year doesn't mean that Brady can't do that in the course of his career. But again, just in general.
Facts. Yep.
But it's for me, it's all the more reason why wide receiver needs to be a priority, because it's like if highly regarded players coming in as freshmen didn't provide that when you kind of expected them to, you shouldn't be anticipating that from just the next group of highly regarded freshmen taking that step, or taking guys that are redshirting or have been in your programs a couple of years. Like, it's great if they do. Abundance is a great commodity, but you can't count on what what you have in the store may not be enough to get you where you want to go. You got to go out and get it.
With Denzel,
and for that matter,
we knew about Denzel Boston before he started a game for us. Like, I mean, granted, he had 3 amazing wide receivers in front of him, maybe 4, but like we knew about him. We knew how good he was, and not that you can't have somebody that's not.
And he proved it from the jump.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if he was somewhere else, he would have been starting for most Power 2 or Power 4, whatever you want to call it, teams. But yeah, well, I mean, we haven't heard about that someone yet. I mean, not that can't happen, but somebody who's ready to start for sure next year. That one of the younger guys, other than Roebuck.
And then, Hooligan, what was your next position?
I gotta say, kind of on the same boat. Everybody, and I am a big Brian Bonner fan, and I've said again, not giving away all of the discussion. Like, Brian Bonner can very well be RB1 from the second he steps on campus. He very well could be that guy. But even if he is, and this is where the profile, certainly I was very happy to, I was impressed by the progress that Adam made as it came down the stretch of the season. And again, the progression isn't linear. The profile of what Adam Muhammad brought to the table is exactly what we need to replicate in the portal, in my opinion, in somebody that is more of a power, that has the size of a power back to be just an absolute bruiser and a downhill threat. And he's got the foot speed and enough agility to make some explosive runs and get down the field, because I get and this isn't just the offensive line. Championship caliber football teams, I'm talking conference championship caliber, I'm talking playoff contention football teams, don't rely on freshmen in more than maybe like a couple of positions. And even then, that's kind of, you're still pushing your luck a little bit there. Like, you have to have proven talent. And right now, there's I loved what I saw from, if I'd given one more name for my freshman of the year on offense, I'd said Jordan Washington. I didn't think we saw enough of Jordan Washington, going to the point about play calling and decision making and prioritization. But I loved it. But while Brian Bonner has that kind of speed and is bigger than Jordan Washington, Brian Bonner still, as a true freshman, I don't want Brian Bonner to be given Jonah Killman and Adam, or when Jonah was healthy, the kind of workload where we gave him the ball 27 times against Colorado State. Speaking of why he wasn't healthy all year. You need guys that have been through the wars in college that can take some of that workload and give you, so that Brian Bonner and Jordan Washington can maintain their explosivity to take the top off the defense by just, they're out the gate and goodbye. And I don't want them to use Brian Bonner as a true freshman as a sledgehammer, because that's not what he is.
Yep. And to that point, just speaking of, even where you can like take the next step into even what Jonah brought. Jonah, to me, similarly to Dylan Johnson, a lot of the long runs didn't go for scores, especially last year. So it's like you can have a 40-yarder, 30-yarder, 50-yarder, and then if we're not scoring, that's not, you still got to execute another play. You can now get a turnover in the red zone, right? So I would like to go after somebody that could, like, finish these plays, not necessarily get, hawk down, those types of things. So hit these explosives and get the offense off the field. So yeah, I think that's a trait that you can kind of take to the next level. You obviously got that in Bonner and Washington. We're curious to see what Quay Carr, McMahon. Some rumors I heard from him is that he's gotten his feet really, really quick. And also too, just seeing how he moved in the spring, and from just me personally, to just moving into the fall was significantly different. So you can see there's a work ethic element there too in McMahon. So I'm just kind of curious what we have in that room, because it is deep with bodies now. So
it absolutely is, and certainly, I think it stood out, to talk about Julian McMahon, like, it stood out on his tape. The body type is, is clear, and that's, hearing that is great news, because the other place that he can be an asset, certainly, not only is as a pass catcher, because that was something that he really clearly demonstrated in his high school tape.
He's
got really good hands as a safety valve, and particularly in situations where DeMond is out of the pocket and needs a check down and needs a release.
I would have our
what do you guys think about
in my top 5 too, as well? But if Muhammad had stayed, I would not. I would think we still need to get a transfer, but I don't think we need an RB1 type player if we have Muhammad and Bonner coming in and Washington rotating, but it wouldn't be an absolute need. But now it is.
Yeah, I would have said go get a senior, an experienced, complementary back, again, probably leaning a little bit more towards the bigger body type, the more of the power back, because you would have less, even with Adam, you'd have less proven in that room of that kind of style of running back. But now with Muhammad's departure, I think that's a key priority. For me,
one of the best farm systems. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, one of the best farm systems at running back for the Big Ten, the last couple of years has been, was it the AAC, where it's like Marshall and JMU and those places? I think that's the AAC, the American or something like that, where you had Tulane as well, where Makai Hughes goes to Oregon, Lee Beebe, I think goes to Indiana, AJ Turner goes to Minnesota. Like, they have a really good farm system for the Big Ten running backs for sure.
Yep. So I think we're to 4th on my list, and I'm going to go tackle, actually, on the offensive side. I actually feel really good about. I'm a big Cocky Finau fan. I'm a big Champ Talalea fan. You have John Mills coming back. You've got, I'm assuming Drew Party comes back, and you've got your right tackle locked down. You've got probably a decent, backup or swing tackle in Maximus McCree. Again, this is no disrespect to Cody Green, who's whom I really like. And he very well could be the exception that we were talking about earlier. But in an ideal scenario, you look at what happened and how bad the offense bogged down when Carver Willis got hurt. You need one more proven commodity at offensive tackle. I think
another year.
I don't. I don't think that they'll rule that Kansas State is a junior college. I mean,
They're just
it's
making up rules every
probably
year.
not far, probably not that far off. I mean, if Carver had spent his career at Washington State rather than Kansas State,
Oh,
I think you've got an argument
damn.
right there.
We probably get some eligibility.
It's like, yeah, you're playing Double A out there
Hey.
for 2 years.
Hey, I'm right there with you with OT. OT was my was my sixth. I was like balancing that between that and tight end, or sorry, that and corner. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I think interior, I think you're pretty solid with people there, and with high floor guys there, and big bodies there. And I think a lot of the tackles they recruited in the last two classes, I think they're very big, but I don't know how. We haven't been able to see their movement skills, so I could assume that they're interior depth too. Until they're not.
It's easier to plug. Honestly, it's a little bit easier to plug a hole at guard than anywhere else on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fourth. And then fifth, I'm
center.
I mean, I'll probably. I'm gonna keep up the offensive slant to the conversation, and I'll say tight ends. I don't think we've got the you don't have the obvious. You don't have the obvious Quentin replacement. I think I would expect and hope that Decker takes a step forward, but to this point in his career, his best games have been against some of our worst competition, and not really shown up in some of the where the talent level is equal or if we're at a deficit. A tight end would, I mean, there's a number of positions I agree with you about corner, but I think tight end in particular, to the point of where you're not calling out or where the defense can't automatically, it's this tight end's in the game, they're going to throw it, or this tight end's in the game, they're going to run it. And honestly, I mean, it would be an extreme luxury, but a tight end that can stretch the field a little bit down the seam would be amazing.
I'm saying what's so funny is the first thing that came to my head is I was gonna say we need like a Max Clare kind of guy, but he had a whole decent year. Like I definitely, man, we need like it doesn't need like an athletic freak. We just need somebody that's balanced, like got good movement skills, but also is not liability blocking, so.
And ideally, it would be if you could get somebody in that 6'5" and 260 with a little bit of movement skills, and that can be that, for lack of a better term, that just a sticks mover, just like a post up, shield that shield the linebacker, shield the safety from the football, and pick you up 7 yards when you need it.
Agreed.
I don't care if honestly, I'd prioritize that over somebody that can get over the top and beat somebody with their speed. Just size and reliable, trying to think of a good example.
I think Desmond Roebuck and Jonah Coleman made the red zone numbers a certain level. But I think you add a tight end to this offense and it takes it to the next level. If you were able to execute like that on conversion downs and in the red zone without a tight end that you're throwing to like that, or there's so much meat left on the bone there.
Well, and we had a tight end that we could have, we just didn't. You can't tell me Quentin Moore couldn't have been that guy
all year. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There was a point in time earlier in the season where spring? I think it was fall. Anyway, where I kind of had a candid combo with him, and he was like, it's definitely like week to week maintenance, and he's like managing pain kind of all the time. So I'm assuming they might have to do something with that, but
yeah. You can call this a hot take. but I'm going to put a bet down, or I'm going to just call it out, that at some point in his NFL career, Quentin Moore will have a 4 or 5 plus touchdown season as an NFL tight end.
Oh, I agree. He has a ridiculous knack of just getting open. Strong hands. I've never seen him struggle with a ball. Like, you know what I mean? So great movement skills. Gonna be tough to tackle. And one of the coolest parts is he does not have a lot of wear and tear. Mm-hmm. He played a lot. He played a lot of years, but he has minimal wear and tear outside of that singular situation, which was big, but you don't have a lot of wear and tear.
Yep. I think that was my 5. We got through all. I know you did your 5 position units. I think DJ got called away.
Yeah.
I think we will. I think we can call it a show, and we will be back either next week or with the holiday the week following to start our Sound the Siren F-bombs recruiting scale. I think we're going to start on the offensive side of things, and like I said, that will either be next week or the week following, just to make sure everybody that wants to join is able to. Without saying too much about that, those are going to be some damn fun conversations. So stay tuned. If you're watching us on YouTube, we're going to be duking the fuck out.
Hell yeah.
But speaking of things to celebrate, I meant to mention this earlier, and I will apologize to the team in question that it was not at the very top of our show.
Oh,
UW is a football school. Both of them.
Come on, a football.
Big shouts.
Come on.
Incredible road warrior work done by UW men's soccer, and certainly, all credit to the women's soccer team for their run to the Elite Eight. Both of them playing their absolute hearts out, and paying tribute to Mia Hammett. But national champion UW men's soccer. Well done, gents.
Yeah. And then we got 40-something days left until softball too. So yeah, and the lady who's looking pretty solid too. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gave one away on the farm, which hurts because they had every chance to win that game. And the fourth quarter was not friendly.
Agreed.
And then let's not talk about men's basketball this week.
That's exactly. You see, I didn't even,
But everybody, from all of us at Sound the Siren, to you and yours, we wish you a very happy and safe and healthy holiday season. Thank you very much for listening. Go Dogs, and we'll be back soon.
Absolutely. Go Dogs. Love on your loved ones, man. Yes.